So RGB is the type of document that I have this on at the moment, and I'm gonna show you that up here. You guys see this? RGB and CMYK. So I created two different files. So this one's CMYK, this one's RGB. And what are these? Well, right here, RGB is a color mode you guys want to design if it's something made for screens. So anything made for screens, whether it's TV, your tablet, your phones, computers, websites, will be done in RGB. So if you guys going into Illustrator, you guys go into new and you start off with something, you should know what you're working on. So from here, you guys can go right away into web. And if you click on web, right away, your color mode will automatically go into RGB color. And a lot of other things will change as well, such as this. Everything's gonna be measured in pixels and so on. Whereas if you go into print, you will notice that it's gonna change your color mode to CMYK, plus it's no longer going to be in pixels, but points. So here we go. Even the scale of things would be read differently. So why does this matter? Well, if you guys try to print something that you created in RGB, especially when it comes down to really bright colors, such as this green, once you print it, it's going to be a lot darker. But again, that depends on your local printer. I had printers before that they can print something that's RGB and comes out perfect. However, especially with large scale printers, you want to work on something that's CMYK. And that's because that's what the colors that they mess around with. So if you want something really bright, mess around with the colors that they're working with. So again, I'm just gonna go on and change my workspace, and I'm gonna go down to painting because that'll focus on colors. So this one right here, just to show you the difference, I'm gonna go into new swatch, and these are the swatches that we're messing around with. And we're gonna get every single color from within these three. Again, this would be for screens. So right now we have red, and then we have green. So this one right here is a green. So if you go to new swatch, you guys will see it's green. The whole way green, that has nothing blue, nothing red in it. It's a pure green for screens. Then we take a look at this one, take a look in the swatch, which we don't have to do that every time. But anyways, it has only blue, and red and green, it has 0. And this is the code for it. Now if I wanted to change this into red, I can just bring it down to 0, bring up the red, and there we go. It's a pure red. Let me just bring it back into blue, press OK, and that's RGB, red, green, and blue. So again, this would be for anything that has to do with a screen. And if you want to print, well, depends on your local printer. Now, if you guys want to make something that's for printing, so a magazine or anything that has to do with printing, well, you guys want to work with CMYK colors, so you would start off document with CMYK colors. So if we go into swatches this time, it's gonna be different. So new swatch, you're gonna have these options. So as you guys can see, cyan, magenta, yellow, and yeah, black. Those are your options right here. So this is a pure cyan. The next one would be a pure magenta. So if you take it down, we can go into the next color, which is a pure yellow. Take it down to 0, we can go to pure black. So once again, those are the colors that the printers actually have on their printing machines in order to make all the colors that you guys want to make. So from within these colors, we can make any other color. So if we bring this down a little bit, we bring this up like that, like so, we can go on and make any other colors, as you guys can see. So if we bring that up, we take this down a lot. Well, if we take down the black, we can see a little bit more of the colors. So here we go. If we can mess around with and make any color that we need in order to print. Now, once again, once we get into InDesign, I'm gonna talk about a little bit more about process colors and spot colors. Spot colors, and there's some colors that you guys can only get with a certain code, but these are your basics. And other swatches, you don't need to make the colors yourselves. Yes, you guys can go into swatches and just click on the one that you want. And if you go into new swatch, it should tell you how this color was made. So right now we can see that it has cyan and yellow 100%, and it made green. So that's the huge difference between RGB and CMYK. And yes, you can mess around with CMYK colors in order to make something for websites or anything on the screen. However, when it comes down to RGB, you usually don't want to mess around with this, printing this stuff out. Just because when you're printing, you're not gonna get the exact same thing that you're seeing on the screen. Whereas CMYK, if you just did this by mistake, you created something that's just for online and you're messing around with CMYK colors, it's not a big deal because you're still gonna see what you see on the screen. So generally speaking, if you're making something for a portfolio piece and you want to print it and make it look good, but also make it look good on the screen, I would suggest going to CMYK and just working with those colors right there. However, again, RGB, usually you get these really bright colors that you can only get on screens. Anyways, this episode's pretty short because I just want to show you the basics before we keep going into more stuff that's a little bit more advanced. So hopefully this will help you out at learning which type of file you guys want to start off with, plus getting you a little bit more into typography. And that would be it for today's episode. If you guys have any comments, questions, you guys can write down here in the comments area. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you.